Welcome to Tokyo Alpha, the show where we talk about the Japanese NFT market. My name is Tony Vega. I spend my time looking at the Japanese NFT market. I do shows in Japanese and English. That's what I do. And I am joined by my co-host, one of the co-founders of the Japanese NFT community Spam DAO and the project lead for Zeal Chain Crypto.
Hey, pleasure to be here.
Hey. Good to talk to you again, like always.
Uh,
So let's see. So how have you been? How you doing? Anything interesting? What's up?
yeah, been building Zero Chain and talking to many collab manager, including like
Hmm.
well-known ones.
Yeah.
Yep, it's been kind of busy week for me building though. Like I haven't been really trading or anything, but yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. That's I know that takes just like talking to people and organizing things that takes up so much time.
Yeah,
So I know how
yeah,
it is.
even the like organizing just a stamp contest takes like forever. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, really, like, just like scheduling something or whatever. Oh, it's yeah, it's like you spend more time doing all that than the actual like meeting.
Yeah,
So
yeah, like yeah, for full Zero Chain, it's like next level thing. Like, oh my,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So just for anybody that doesn't know, Zeal Chain is a new project that's coming out. It's at ZIELCHAIN, and the artist is what would I say, the lead artist or whatever, the guy overseeing the art and doing the art is very well known. He's the Amano Yoshitaka. He's well known for having done the designs for Final Fantasy. So he's probably one of Japan's most well known artists to have come out of the video game industry, and I'm probably many people listening are have seen his work at one point or another. So it's just an interesting project that is coming soon in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's deal chain. But let's talk about what is let's see. So have you bought or done anything like bought or sold?
Yeah. Mm, I minted Momoguro. That's not really Japanese related, project.
Yeah, Japan inspired a little bit, so it's okay. We can talk about that because it's been interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's been interesting. Yeah. I I diamond handed, sadly. I minted a diamond handed because like that was like what I was asked to do, basically.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So everybody else sold, and I'm the only one diamond handed, and kind of sad to see the floor price every day. Like I've
Yeah.
been following what's happening, and I know the back end of the story, so yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. So just full disclosure, I also got whitelist for Momoguro, and I minted both because you could mint two, and I sold one immediately, like before it even sold out. So it was like 0.82 or something, and I figured, that's good profit. Like I'm just gonna play it safe, like I know there's a lot of hype with this mint, so like I can keep one and see what happens. Uh, so I sold one, and then I kept one, and then within like 24 hours the floor started going down. We can talk about why, but and then now it's like 0.31 or 0.32, and it had gone up to like over zero point 0.8, and the mint price was 0.22, so it's come down almost pretty close to the mint price, and it's revealed too. So then after the reveal, it dumped even more. So I sold the second one at like 0.41. I tried to sell at like zero point 0.5, but my sale didn't go through. And then I went to sleep, and the next morning it was like 0.41. So I was like, I'm just selling now. And it kept going down. So can you tell us, like, I think the one of the biggest reasons for it going down, aside from just, NFTs, they often, they pump really hard and they come down. But the main reason I've heard people talk about is that they had announced, they said they were doing a game, but then it turns out they were building on roadblocks and it wasn't its own original like platform, its own original game. Is that basically like what people are kind of upset about?
Well, that's the narrative.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
originally, there's a price prediction even before the launch.
Right.
and it was basically overhyped.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And yeah, people were grinding and people were happy that they're getting whitelist because the black market for this whitelist was being exchanged for about $1,200.
Yeah, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, at one point it hit $1,800. So based on market
Woo.
price, people were making the
Mhm.
price predictions. People were saying it's gonna start off at point A, it's gonna shoot up to like about 1 ETH and come down to point 0.6, and after the reveal, it's gonna dump to point 0.3. So it's basically moved exactly how it was predicted.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's just amazing how people can like kind of predict it. Like if you spend enough time in the space and have the connection with the right people, you can actually expect what's gonna happen. As it
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just happened to be like that, you know. It just happened to be. It could be completely coincident. And,
Mhm.
narrations or narrative is ba-
Narrative, yeah.
narrative
Mhm.
is basically like reasons you give
Mhm.
afterwards. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's just yeah, the game wasn't good or what we were not expecting. Yeah, what do you expect? Like make a game
Yeah.
cost $50 million, like or something
Yeah.
like yeah, we don't got money like that.
Mhm.
And I heard
Mhm.
this project was originally supposed to be like a free mint and stuff, and then yeah, whatever, bro.
Oh, really? Jeez. Okay. Well, so one of the things that I heard people complaining about was oh, the bad communication. And like, yeah, I guess so. Like, people were not expecting that, whatever. But it was also like a super hyped up mint. So everybody's just. It's like, how do you live up to those expectations? Like people are going to be disappointed, at one point or another. But also this whole thing with the narrative, like you said it exactly. Like if you have the right connections and you're talking to the right people, you get that information. Why? Because let's face it, like this market is pretty easy to manipulate. Like, if you get a few whales together, they make that reality happen, right? Like they can buy and they can get the floor to go to whatever. And, it's much easier to move the floor in a NFT project than Bitcoin or like stocks or something like that. So, like the right people aren't just like geniuses. Yeah, they're good at predicting and whatever. They have experience, but also they hear stuff from the people that have the money who are going to be buying at certain levels. So that also influences what they say.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, again, we mainly focus on the Japanese market, but Momoguro is really interesting. Like Momoguro got a lot of attention from the Japanese side, and a lot of Japanese buyers did get in. And for example, one friend of mine that I met through the Neo Tokyo Punks community, like when I tweeted something about Momoguro, like the price going down. I didn't talk about like whether I bought or sold. This was in Japanese, and he's like, oh yeah, he said something, and then I said, oh no, he said, oh yeah, I'm sure there's still some people holding both. And I said, like, yeah, I'm sure there is. I didn't look at the stats, but I sold one immediately. I still have one. He's like, oh wow, Tony, good job, because I still have both of mine. So,
Bro,
so yeah, I get the feeling that a lot of the Japanese holders they didn't sell because that's not their mentality, right? Like if they got in through like Ikehaya, who he did a big AMA with them, maybe a lot of them were not. I didn't closely look at any wallets. I have no
yeah,
idea,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
whatever. At least it's not under mint, right? So they can get out if they want
yeah,
to. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm not gonna, you know, sell shame at anybody for
yeah, yeah,
selling.
yeah.
Like if it's like if you want by like raffles, it's free
Hmm.
money, right? Like
Yeah,
it's okay, bro. And
yeah.
yeah, and I'm more like interested in the fact how the free mint is doing. Like after, right around the same time Momoguro was minting, there was this DJ mint called OWF.
Owls. That's been going crazy, right?
Those that project was crazy. People can mint for free up to 20 per transaction, and it was about to flip Momoguro. Like, okay, it's completely DJ free mint with no utility. We
Yeah,
don't even know who made it, and
yeah.
as opposed to like Momoguro studio is like a 9-time Emmy winning studio, bro. Like
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
compare those two? Like completely decent. Like oh, it just people are buying it for fun, and Momoguro has so much backing and the funding. It
Yeah. It's
just
crazy, right?
blows my
Like,
mind.
yeah. And it makes you want to go like, why am I trying so hard? It's like, fuck it. I'll just release some stupid shit, you know? It's like stealth mint, free mint, and, like, it'll blow up. Like, I mean, it's not as easy as that, but we've seen many projects that do it. They know how to get the marketing right in the beginning. They know the right words to use. They have the right connection.
Mm.
Sometimes, they can kind of get their friends to, publicize it a little bit. And some of these free mints, they just, like, for example, owls, maybe one of the reasons why it hit so hard right at the right time is maybe it was like I don't think this is the main reason, but Moonbirds has not been doing well, and that's a whole owl theme thing. So they're like, screw Moonbirds, let's do owls in this stupid mint. It's always like a timing thing as well. You
Yeah.
know, like sometimes these things just hit at the like Goblin Town, right? Like Goblin Town, total degen, nobody knew what it was, but it hit at the right exact perfect moment when the market was horrible and people were like, oh no, everything's going to zero, and the narrative was there. It was just perfect timing and everybody went crazy for it. And then the mystery aspect, of course, that drives the price even more, right? But it's almost like when you have too much information, then people are like, oh no, it's just going to go to 1 ETH. But when it's like this whole mystery and you don't know what the hell is going on, it's like, no, this can go to 20 ETH. Like, like people believe it or something. I don't know.
For real, bro. Like for real. It
Yeah,
just
it's funny.
yeah. Yeah, we can do like a Warren Buffett style. Like you can't give reason to every single thing that happens in the space. It's like just happens for no reason sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, it just, sometimes these things just take on momentum and then it's like, oh, everybody's buying, so I guess I'll buy too. And then, somebody like Dingaling or whatever, they start buying and then, oh my God, we got to buy more. And then, this thing's going crazy
Yeah,
sometimes.
people always talk about like the owner ratio, floor price.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You can bid up to 20 for free. If you did
Yeah.
that, you would have made like how much each, bro?
Like, did it go like over at 0.3 or something like that?
Close to 0.4.
Yeah. Yeah,
Point-
yeah. And I think it's still over 0.1
you
right now,
had-
so it's still
If you
holding.
only had like one wallet, people have like 50, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. I mean, for me personally, Momoguro, like, look, I just happened to get lucky. I got the whitelist. It's an amazing team and all that funding, blah, blah, blah. It's great. But for me personally, like, I didn't feel any connection to the brand or anything. Like, I was not going to be playing the game. And I know how the NFT space is. I know that 99% of the time when you have one of these hype mints, it's going to go up and it's going to come down really fast. Like, you're almost always going to win if you sell when people are going the most crazy. There's rare exceptions like Bored Apes or Azuki or something like that they keep going and they stay high. And, frankly, I didn't think Momoguro was going to be like that, but of course I could have been wrong. So, we all just make our decisions and we go with it. And, like for me, if I'm going to hold something long term, it's something that I have a more personal connection to, something that I genuinely like Neo Tokyo Punks, whatever. I still have 3 of those. It's been almost a year, I think, since I bought them, and I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to keep holding and I don't care about it. But, that's a more stable kind of, floor and everything. So it's a different mentality for me in that regard. But when it's these like global projects with tons of hype, it's like, yeah, it's good to at least take some profit.
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah. I was gonna sell right at like at the beginning, like at 0.7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but can't for many reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah. But I mean, I would be surprised if it goes under mint, but
I'm not surprised
I think.
because the marketing team already left, bro.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm goodbye. I'm out. Anyway, let's talk about Japanese
All right.
NFTs.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I
yeah. All right. So what's been going on? Honestly, it's been a slow week. It hasn't been that exciting, but let's see. Something that happened recently was the Ito reveal. I still have my Ito. Unfortunately, like it's basically gone back down to the price where I bought. So it's like at point 0.1 or 0.11. That's pretty much where I bought. So yeah, it did dip a little bit after reveal, and I don't know what's gonna happen with this because I it like I'm worried because it's tough to get the attention back, and I don't know, like they never announced that Red Bull thing. It's not an official thing at the moment, right?
huh?
Did they announce the Red Bull collab? Is that like officially announced, or do you know about that with Ito Ito?
I heard it wasn't as big as the people thought. But basically, that's what I heard. Like I didn't confirm anything, but that's what I heard.
Okay,
But I'm
all right,
that's just it's just the marketing.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
kind of like it was kind of fun marketing, but it was kind of like people lost patience. I mean, people lost patience like after 3 days, bro. Like
that's how it is. That's how it
like
is.
three
Yeah.
days is like a attention span for like people in Web3. That's all we have. So that's you have to make plans accordingly. You can't make people wait longer than 3 days.
That's the reality. Like, I mean, if you're playing with like a big collection with a lot of traders involved, then yeah, that's really how it is. If you're dealing with like a smaller collection, then yeah, people might be more patient and you're very careful about, building the community. I guess it's possible to be a little bit slower, but yeah, with a big collection like this that was getting a lot of attention from the traders, it's tough. And that's why like it all comes down to the next narrative, right? Like what's the next thing that Ito is going to, reveal? Are they, is Cyber Z, the company that's backing it, are they going to do a game? Like, are they announcing something? Because unless there's some new motivation, like I don't see the reason for people to be buying this.
Yeah. People have fun like doing gacha and getting the cute PFP for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I think they're just trying. I feel like they're playing the same playbook as the Digidaigaku, like making the gacha game.
Hmm.
To bring in the Web 2 people and get the money from Web 2 and bring it to Web 3, basically. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's same strategy. I feel like just a smaller scale.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's a big company, and like they've got a lot of attention. So I mean there's potential here. It's all up to the execution. Can they regain the interest after the initial excitement goes away? And I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean the art looks nice and all. It's a very complex trait. Like they've got, I don't know, like 8 or 9 traits or whatever. It all looks nice. Sashimi did a nice job and all, but it's not the kind of PFP that your average 20-year-old NFT trader is going to be using. So
I mean, there's a market for it, like for sure. There's a market for it. Like I start to think who likes kind of this kind of stuff. I'm really
yeah,
surprised. Like honestly, yeah,
okay.
people really like it.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
yeah. Because people have different tastes, and the people
Sure.
who like this kind of uh art or just
Mhm.
they got money.
Oh, okay,
Like
okay.
yeah,
Uh,
I mean yeah, they're good, bro. Yeah,
All right,
I
all
just
right. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad that they have that following.
they do, and
Yeah,
sashimi and kiwi, they
yeah.
those big names like kiwi is the biggest name. Yeah,
Hmm.
I feel
Definitely.
yep, like yeah, I think he's the
Yeah.
one like planning everything behind.
Yeah. So I think that is, yeah, no, good point that they have such a person that's deep in Web3 and has so many connections. I mean, that is something very strong that a lot of these Japanese projects don't have. So that is a very good
Yeah,
point.
I just wonder how spread out those narrations or the narratives or like the info.
Mhm.
Like I need more bullish points to be like keeping an eye on this. Like,
Yeah, I
it
agree. I
moves
agree.
so fast. Like we are on the highway and we can't be like stopping at the small shop.
Yeah. And everybody moves on to the next thing right away after launch, and because that's where the highest potential for the gains are, you know. But yeah, unless you have that announcement or something, like something, oh, the game is coming, or something that you need that thing for people to talk about. Like the Red Bull thing was like, oh my God, they have a collab with Red Bull. That's the thing that everybody's going to tell everybody else, right? You need that narrative, like we keep saying, and right now, it doesn't have that clear narrative at the moment, but we'll see. They have those connections, so they could announce something at any point, and so whether you want to get in or not, that's up to you. But I still have one, and we'll see. I don't know. I'll decide if I sell it or whatever. I don't.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So just for anybody that came in partway through, so this is Tokyo Alpha. We talk about mainly the Japanese NFT market, what's going on, what's selling, what's coming out, and sometimes we talk about Japan-inspired stuff as well, like Momoguro, which we just did a few minutes ago. So anyway, the next thing that came out, well, the kind of the big thing that came out was CNP Makimono. So this is the next thing in the Crypto Ninja Partners ecosystem. It's these scrolls that are a free mint, and there's multiple. I think only the red one came out, and it's a supply of like 4,900 or something. But there's going to be multiple colors, and then there's going to be some kind of like fusion burn thing. Like I think if you collect all the colors, then you can burn them into like a black one or a rainbow one, and then those black ones or rainbow ones are going to have more utility in some kind. Like you can evolve your specific character, or get some kind of, like, they call it a ninja yashiki, like a ninja mansion, but I'm not clear what that is. If that's some kind of like metaverse thing, I'm not totally clear on what that is. But anyway, yeah. So the first one came out. Not all of them are out yet. It hasn't done that much volume, but the floor is high. It's like over 0.1, for a free mint. That's very good. But it's one of these classic like CMP, like or Ikehaya, like very low volume, compared to the floor price. So it's just basically like there's not a lot of people that are listing, and even when they do list, it's for a relatively high price, and only a few people are buying in, compared to more organic kind of trader volume. Uh, so yeah, like personally, I'm have zero interest in this. I'm not in the ecosystem, so there's no benefit for me. And the price action is, I don't like getting in on price action like this, because it's just so low volume that it's kind of risky, in that sense. Like it's tough to get in and out. But in terms of Crypto Ninja Partners, I mean, they have one of the strongest, communities in the sense that they don't just sell. So I don't think this is going to zero, but it doesn't have any appeal to me.
Yeah, you can place your money elsewhere.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, I wrote a thread about this over at Tokyo Alpha HQ, but like 2 days ago, Ikehaya-san did a space where he was talking about like kind of his philosophy and the people that he wants to attract into the Crypto Ninja, and basically his projects. And he was basically speaking very positively about cell shaming, basically. Like he was talking about Japan's culture of shame, which is something that people talk about not just in terms of NFTs, but in general, where it's like haji. Haji is this like shame, this word that means like shame. And so you have classically Japan is considered a collective society, and so people kind of like they might talk bad about a certain person because they did something, and that shames them into behaving the way that the larger society wants them to behave. And Ikehaya-san was talking about like this is Web3, and so people are able to look at each other's wallets, and so if they behave in a way that is not acceptable to the community, then this is something that people should be kind of proud of. Japan's culture of shame, and it's something good, and like for me that makes me feel uncomfortable. I think like he has the absolute total 100% right to handpick his whitelist. If he wants to do it that way, that's fine. Like I think many projects do that to some extent, but to kind of like create this kind of like negative cell shaming environment, and specifically make CNP and his properties like about that, to tie this IP that he's trying to grow into something bigger with this kind of negative shame ideology, is something that concerns me, because you would not see a big company doing this. Like a big company wants to establish their own IP, and like Mickey, people like Mickey because they like the cartoons and they like blah blah blah. People like Dragon Ball Z because they love the characters and all the adventures that they go on. They don't care like that Toriyama has like, hell, Toriyama doesn't even like say anything. He's such a hermit. Like people don't know like what the hell does Toriyama do in like a normal day? He's like basically almost invisible, you know. So, but CMP is so closely tied to Ikehaya and like how he thinks and what he's trying to create. And up until now that has been very successful. But if you want to break into the mainstream, is that okay? Like will that be negative in the long term? And I don't know. It's super interesting, but it's something that concerns me. Like if I was a holder, I would be concerned. I'm not. So in the end, it's like I can watch and just kind of find it interesting, but it's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, I mean, they focus so much on the community, you know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if they got such a cute, good product and good strategy and good plan, they don't really have to worry about it, right?
Yeah.
That's the point. They
Yeah.
focus so much on the community and the psychology of the holders. Like, I was like looking at the Momoguro's chat activity, and once people
Mm-hmm.
start talking about the floor price, it crumbles, or like, oh, take a look at this game. It's not what we expected, and people will be like, hey, let's get out of here. And when people out, like everybody follows,
Yeah.
right? So the way Ikehaya's like building community, that kind of prevents that kind of talk in the community, right?
Yes.
It's
Mm-hmm.
really effective. Like people get like manipulated or like brainwashed, whatever it is, and like once people start talking bad about community, they want to find out what they're not happy about. And then once they agree, they will make decisions like, should I stay or should I not stay? But if nobody's
Mm-hmm.
talking shit about the project in the community, people are like, hey, let's get together and stay strong together. Well, once start
Mm-hmm.
talking shit, like,
Yeah.
hey, this shit is not going anywhere, or in the here is the information people don't know about, and people like, hell, fucking no, I need to protect my money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really interesting approach. I mean, it's not wholly like uniquely Japanese. We do see some kind of similar aspect in some other projects in the global market, but what he's created is really impressive. He's created a strong community that really genuinely believes in what he is building. Because let's face it, like this guy named Road is the founder of Crypto Ninja Partners officially, but people are there because of Ikehaya. They're not there because of Road. Like they like Road, but Ikehaya is the face and the voice and the brain of Crypto Ninja Partners. And he's the soul that he's the guy that people like look to for guidance. And he's created this environment where people like wholeheartedly, well, okay. So there's some people that they just say they believe and they're in there for the money and that's fine, like whatever, you say you're in there and you get some whitelist and you make some money and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. And then there's the people that actually believe, and he's created this environment where I think it makes it uncomfortable for you to kind of speak out in a negative way, which in a way is good because like you said, once people start going like all negative, then it's like, let's all get out, blah, blah, blah. That's how it is in the global market. But at the same time, like it's also like, it can be kind of that like peer pressure kind of thing and it can make it kind of uncomfortable. And so, yeah, it's walking that fine balance where it's not, see, my larger concern is about the long term kind of thing. Like, so if they're trying to build this into some kind of like larger IP and not just like an NFT thing, does that affect this larger plan in some way? Like, because imagine like you're a new person and you see like CMP and you go, oh, that's kind of cute. I wonder what this is all about. And then you go into the community and maybe you feel uncomfortable, or whatever, for some reason. And you realize like, oh, this isn't just about like, I like the cartoons. This is also about the person. Like, not everybody will be into that.
Yeah, the community and the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of the NFT. NFT always comes with community,
Yeah.
except for DJs. Nobody knows.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, it's very interesting to see, and I'm just a little concerned about the language, but the reason why we talk about Crypto Ninja Partners is because this strategy has been very successful, and so we'll see. Like he has the attention, and he's very good at saying controversial things that get people to talk like we are right now. and then the attention comes back. But for the moment, the attention is not on Crypto Ninja Partners much. Most of the space is not like focusing on it like it was maybe like 6 months ago. Um, you know, interesting here. Like I was looking at the volume ranking for the past, for yesterday and even like the day before and the past few days, like his projects aren't really at the top so much. It's a lot of like, honestly, like projects that I don't even really know too much about. Like, what's that called? Boshi Aries, Second Dimensions. Honestly, like I didn't think these projects were getting much traction. Somebody in a comment on Tokyo Alpha like said, "Oh, it looks like it's probably wash trading." And it probably is, like, I mean, maybe it's for blur, maybe it's for whatever reason. But yeah, these projects are, I guess, getting attention or trading from non-Japanese wallets at the very least, because the Japanese community is not talking about these projects. So it's just kind of weird. And Crypto Ninja Partners and those projects are not doing that much volume. So right now it's just a really slow time in the market. Volume is down, and I don't know, like people are just looking for the free mints, I guess. Um, yeah, it's just, oh, well, and one thing I'll add is there's a lot of Japanese creators that are starting to experiment with ordinals, the Bitcoin ordinals. And that's been really interesting to see. So they're just, trying something new, Six Maker, Waka, Kawaii Skull, Ishihata Goro. A lot of these very well-known names, are putting out stuff on ordinals. Mira Takeru, who we talked about, I think a week or two ago, he put out Shari, a project, and that has a tie to ordinals as well. So some attention is going to ordinals because it's just kind of fun and new and different, and it has more of a focus on the art rather than all this like utility stuff. So it's been interesting to see. I think the market is still super young, so it's super, super illiquid. So if you are interested in that, just understand that you're not getting into it for the short term money. That's for sure. You're just getting into it because it seems fun and interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, that's what's been going on. As for stuff that's coming soon, one of the most talked about mints that's coming out is TOL Pass. That is, I believe March 19th. That's what I heard yesterday from someone. So I will have to, keep checking on that to make sure that doesn't change. March 19th, Japan time. But TOL Pass is by this, influencer, a female, like, investor type influencer named, Toshi Oel Shacho-chan. And it's a free mint. The artist is, I think, fairly well known, and this person has had over 100,000, and now I think they have over 120,000 followers on Twitter. And so Ikehaya also retweeted her, and she's currently in the very Ikehaya process of hand picking people, going through 1,500 wallet addresses or something like that. She was tweeting about that, and just picking people to give the whitelist to. I think the application process closed already. So, but yeah, I'm sure this is gonna it's gonna do well. It'll probably be a very Ikehaya type, low volume, high floor price immediately, low liquidity kind of thing. So we'll see, but it's interesting, and I did see a few tweets about people saying I didn't even know what Ethereum was, but now I'm getting the whitelist for TOL Pass, yay! So I guess she's bringing in some of her people into the NFT world, so that could be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
with that.
It's very hard to achieve. Bringing in the Web2 people is it's not easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I will include a link to one of her tweets. It's the application tweet, which actually already closed, but in case you're curious about where this is coming from, I just put it in the comments of this space. The next thing, LLAC is also doing a free mint. And this one is interesting in that I don't know the supply, and I'm not sure exactly when it's coming out. Maybe later in March. A lot of these projects are shooting for March. You told us earlier, I guess the fiscal year in Japan and all that closes at the end of the month. So some of these projects want to get out before then. But yeah, LLAC, of course, one of these Ikehaya projects, and its whitelists are going to LLAC people, and then people that have LLAC, the SPT, the soul-bound token, which you get through going to one of their seminars. And there's an allocation for Ikehaya Pass holders, but it's not like previous whitelist raffles. In this one, you have to write why you want it and why you appreciate LLAC. You have to write like an essay or something.
Jesus.
Uh, yeah. So they, see, this is so funny, right? Because like the non-Japanese whitelist raffles for LLAC, you just enter, bam, you do it. But for their stuff, they're handpicking everybody because they want that crazy high floor price, low listing. They want to be able to brag about that, even though, it's not like a lot of people are buying. It's just that people aren't listing. And so, it looks really, really high, but the liquidity there, like if 20 people were to list, like that thing would just, crumble. So yeah, they're going hardcore with the strategy. It's like completely handpicked, and you have to totally, announce your loyalty and devotion to this.
Okay, that's dangerous.
It's a little, it concerns me. See, here's the thing that concerns me more long term. It's like, it's so hard to get new people in. You want to make it easy for people to get in, but, like it seems like it's kind of hard to get in, and you have to like, it's not something you can just get in lightly. It's already really expensive, like 2.7 ETH on super low volume. LAC, like it's like one NFT per day lately. Like the past couple of days, only one has been selling. So 2.7 ETH is already ridiculously high. And on top of that, it's like you have to like be like basically a super believer, to like, want to get in on this and stay in this. So to me, on the surface, it seems like they're really limiting the amount of people that can or would want to get in, and it's all for the sake of having these really big numbers on their OpenSea page. And I don't know if that's the right approach. It scares me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the, I think I put anyway. Yeah. So that was the live like a cat thing. And then the last one that I'll mention, I've talked about it before, but it's, what's it called? Roars. That I just interviewed Nico-san, like the founder of Neo Tokyo Punks, like last week. And there's, this week I'm releasing the Japanese language interview. And he said it's coming out at the end of March. That's the plan. Like basically like the last day of March or something like that. Could be a delay. He's still, being very careful about the art and still putting finishing touches and working on all that. But, he would like to get it out by the end of March. So that one is Roars, like I said.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been getting a lot of, it's been getting a lot of attention, and I see people like tweeting every day, every morning.
Yeah.
Like, what's the expected value for Roar? Like, why is, like, the floor price for Neo Tokyo Punks is like 1 ETH or something like that, right?
It's like 0.89 or usually it's around there.
Yeah. And what's the expected value for Roars? Why is people so bullish about it? Like,
I think that I don't know about what the expected value is in terms of price. I think that it's, the Neo Tokyo Punks community has always been very vocal and very visual and like very present on Twitter. They're very good at that. And so, they tweet a lot, and then they've done a very interesting job. I haven't been in their Discord like much, but what my understanding is that they've created this team called like the Wolf Pack. And basically it's people that are, helping, publicize what's going on. So they retweet, and they have the whole Roars, like, image. And so it's like every day you're seeing people like, retweeting and tweeting about Roars and Neo Tokyo Punks. And it's a very effective strategy because it's like, it's not even like the main team that's doing this. It's the community that's, spreading this all over the place.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It's nice to see that the community is doing this because they want to. And really like I think the part of the allure of Roars is that, let's face it, like Neo Tokyo Punks is expensive for most people, like 0.89 or whatever, 1 ETH is not cheap. And so this is, a cheap way for people to get in. Up until now, it was only 2,222. And there's like a 50-60% unique owner. So basically, there's probably only like a few hundred really active members. And this is going to be like around 10,000, I think. And the mint price is like 0.01 or maybe a little bit more for non like NTP holders, but it's basically it's affordable. So it's a cheap way to get in on this. And, people just like Nico-san and they like the art. This is actually, especially Neo Tokyo Punks, it's the kind of thing that a lot of people do think, oh, it's very PFP-able. So I don't know. I think there's just a general positive sentiment, and I don't think it's necessarily like because people are expecting to make a lot of money. I think people are just like the people that are tweeting this out is they actually just like Nico and Neo Tokyo Punks and what they're trying to do. And for example, in the interview, in the Japanese interview that I did, he's talking about developing like a clothing brand, and they're already working on that. It's going to start online, and we'll see where that goes. People do like I personally like the clothes that he designs. Like I think he's a very good like designer in when it comes to like that kind of street fashion stuff. So it's fun to see that in reality just becoming like actual stuff. And he's trying to build that into a brand that, it's not just for NTP people. It's just for people in general. But it's all very slow. Like NTP does not move fast. And I think that, people get very impatient like we talked about, but the NTP people are very patient. They let Nico-san, build slowly and try new things. And so I don't know, the NTP community is just very supportive of him. And he's built this community and also his community manager, the current one, SRTRK, I think is his name. He's also very liked by the community. He was a holder. He was very active and he did some fan art stuff, and now he's the community manager and people like him a lot too. And he's very active. So I think it's just a very positive community, and they're trying to be very welcoming of new people because people couldn't get in until now. And so now it's a cheap way for people to get in.
Like, how are they having fun in the community? Like, they're not sharing alphas or anything like that, right?
Not really. I mean, there are whitelist giveaways, and they get some pretty good ones because NTP is well known. But there's a lot of people active in the community, like developing stories and doing community projects. For example, at the moment, there's they're doing a manga for Yamaguchi Prefecture, somewhere in Yamaguchi Prefecture, I think. They're preparing this manga, which is like a very like side story to the overall NTP story, but it's also takes place in Yamaguchi. So it's like this collab between Yamaguchi and to kind of like promote Yamaguchi, but also to promote NTP. And so part of the story team, which are some of the community members, they're in there and they're contributing to that is my understanding. And then, they also had an event like maybe a couple months ago, and they're planning another one, I think in April. There's always like community, like, NFT projects. Like there's been multiple where, for example, SR, the community manager, like he did a project where he did NFTs of the masks of NTP, and the community always like is very supportive of those projects. There was another person that did Neko Tokyo Punks, which are like these cat versions of Tokyo Punks, Neo Tokyo Punks. And so, they're very active and they support each other, and they're always working on different things in the Discord. And it's very, voluntary. It's, only a few people actually make it to the core team, like I said, SR. But yeah, I don't know. They're just very entertained and they like it and they like the art and they like Nico-san. And, there's a lot of holders like myself. Like I'm not in there every day, but it's my PFP. That's what I do. So I just have it, Yeah. So again, I have no clue what the hell is going to happen with the floor price with, roars. I mean, I doubt it's going to go under mint price because it's already on the cheap side. But I don't know if it's going to, like for example, it could catch the attention of the foreign market maybe. And then in that case, it could certainly move. Or maybe it just stays around 0.03 or something and it just kind of stays there like a lot of other Japanese projects. It's possible. I know Nico-san is considering doing other stuff with the website and integrating like, other utility and stuff into especially roars, but I don't know. They haven't announced all the details on that. It's all still kind of unclear. But I will be doing, so it's officially decided next Friday, 10 a.m. Japan time. I will be doing a bilingual AMA with Nico. So if you want to learn more about Neo Tokyo Punks, what they've been doing, and what's the plan for Roars, check out next Friday, Japan time, 10 a.m. So it would be basically like the time that this space started, but Friday, Japan
Yeah,
time.
I think they're just trying to bring in new people, right? Basically,
That's the thing, yeah, because it's such a small community, relatively speaking, right? Like, uh, at best it's only like 1,000 people, or maybe like 1,100, two
yeah,
hundred,
people,
and even then,
yeah,
most are not active, right?
yeah,
So
the people in tweeting about the wars, trying to get the whiteness. I don't see them becoming part of the community because I I see them everywhere,
hmm
but the flow
mm,
price is not going to justify you know, their involvement. I mean, they're not gonna stay there.
that's the thing, yeah. When you increase it so big, it's like, all right, now how do you keep them busy? Up until now, it was a small collection, 2,222, with not that many members, but so it's possible to keep a lot of members engaged. Maybe not everybody, but yeah, how do you do that when now it's like 10,000? Let's say they do like 20%, 30% unique owners. That's another 2,000 people potentially. Although, well, a lot of NTP, like each NTP holder gets to mint three.
Three?
So that means that, yeah. So if that's 2,222 and everybody mints three, that's 6,666. So that means that there's going to be maybe 4, 5, 6,000 left over. And then if they do a 20%, unique owner on that, that means potentially what, like, I don't know, like 1,000, 2,000 more people new into the community. If that all goes well and, they have a good, ratio, how many of those people are going to be super active? I don't know because, like, again, like I said, NTP does not move fast. NTP moves slow, and yeah. So if you're not patient, then it's not really for you. But it's been, one of the most stable and solid floors in the Japanese space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have no question about that. I like the art, I like the
Mm,
founder, I like the community. It's just
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's like, where do you go from here? Yeah, I know. And how does that manifest into value for Roars
I mean,
holders
I mean,
specifically?
I don't care where they go from here.
Yeah,
Whatever. It's just gonna be
yeah,
history.
yeah. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I think, like it ultimately it comes down to long term value. Like NTP has the momentum, and if they can keep building that brand into something bigger, there's something there. That's not easy. Hell no, that's not easy at all. But it's like, it is what it is. We just got to see where it plays out. So, but yeah, like I said, for next Friday we'll get to talk to Nico, so we'll learn a little bit more about that. And that is basically it for this week's show. I am doing if oh so oh tomorrow I'm doing an AMA, a bilingual AMA with a new project from Japan called Tomo Gakuen. We mentioned it briefly yesterday. So this is another one of these like Web2 Japanese company backed projects. There's it seems like there's a couple of projects involved. I'm not clear on all the
Mm.
details. For example, one company is called Comseed, and they develop like mobile games and like pachinko stuff, I think. But there's other companies, at least one other company involved, and they're developing like it seems like some kind of like game and like social media kind of thing. Their promotion video was pretty impressive. So there's definitely some money involved in this. So I'm curious to learn more about it. So if you're curious too, check out tomorrow, same time as this space, so 10 a.m. Japan time, and it's going to be English and Japanese. So I pinned up the tweet right now. Again, it's called Tomo Gakuen. They've got quite a few followers. I think coming close to like 20,000 on Twitter. So go check that out. Oh, did I not? I think maybe did I pin it? Oh yeah, it's there. It's there. It's pinned. Yeah. And they did like this game on their website where people could get whitelist, but that's over now. But that did very well apparently. So yeah, I honestly don't know that much. I saw their website looked interesting, so we'll find out more tomorrow. Check it out. And then I'm also doing another project. It's a community project. It's called Ordinally Japan. Basically, this is like anybody can participate in this. I started an account called Ordinally Japan with a Y, Ordinally Japan. And if you create a piece of art and you inscribe it onto Bitcoin as an ordinal, and it's inspired by kind of daily life in Japan, just ordinary things in Japan, and you tweet that out with a little bit of a short explanation, I will retweet that, build this kind of collection of all these different people's art inspired by Japan on Bitcoin. I'm trying to build that up and into like this fun thing that you can scroll through and look at all kinds of art inspired by Japan that's on Bitcoin. I think like maybe like 10 Japanese creators have already submitted stuff, and there's more that are working on works. So if you're curious about Japanese artists, that's also another place you can go to look at what they're doing. But also non-Japanese people, if you have an interest in Japan, you can check that out. You can submit your work too, and we can, just build that up together. And one person submitted something and their work sold soon after I retweeted that. So I'm not saying it will sell, but hey, it's a retweet. It doesn't hurt, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So that was totally community thing in my Discord. People are saying, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I'm not making any money off of that. So it's just, me trying to help out some Japanese artists and build something bigger. And if I get a few followers in the process, great. If not, whatever, it was fun. So there's no deadline on this. It's just, all I have to do is retweet. So it's not such a big deal. So yeah, so check that out. Yeah, anything you want to mention, crypto?
No. Oh, the AMA is coming up for Zero Chain this Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the who we are and who the Nihon Television is and who the Nikkei ones is basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay, and so that's going to be Friday Japan time.
Yeah, Friday at 9 p.m. JST.
Cool. Okay, so check that out, guys. Zeal Chain. I guess just go to the Twitter, right? At Zeal Chain.
Yep.
All right. So we got, if you want more info on Zeal Chain, that is the perfect AMA to check out. You're going to get all the details on the company and, the Japanese television channel that's doing this and all that. So go check that out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Got a good turnout. Thank you. All right. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody. See ya.
All right.